I am not content, and neither are you. Thinking of adopting that as a mantra. My professor in college, Dan, uh, I can't remember why we were talking about mantras, but he was asking us one day as a class, like, what's your mantra? You know, and I've never felt the need to have a mantra, but I feel like that's a good one to have. Um, Not even so much because I need to remind myself of that. I carry myself that way day to day, but I think that would be just a good one to repeat every day. I am not content, and neither are you. That's meant to reinforce my own belief in how I view myself, but also that is instructional. It's not like me telling myself, like, they are not content. They are not content. Nah, I'm kind of trying to tell y'all you are not content. You're a person, you know. And I do think it would do you well to remember that. Like I don't say that authoritatively, but it is instructional. Like a gentle hand on the shoulder, you know. You are not content. You do not have to be content. Remember what it is to be a person. Um anyway, um we're back doing this. But before we get into this, new episode in the description. Uh, I have to say that because this episode is not on YouTube. New series, as a matter of fact. I wasn't planning on it, but hey, the Denouement show, Too Hot for YT. Uh, I did an episode where I wanted to honor an actress that passed away recently, Daveigh Chase. Um, she played Samara in The Ring, Lilo and Lilo and Stitch. She was Samantha. It's the little sister of Donnie Darko and Donnie Darko, amongst other things. And I talked about that and why I wanted to honor her with an episode. But I didn't feel like editing around copyright. I show a lot of shit in there, and YouTube was like, "Fuck, you think you doing?" And I was like, "Damn, trying to pay tribute to somebody who was important to me." And they was like, "We don't give a fuck," and I was like, "Well, I do." So fuck y'all. And we went and signed a distribution deal with Google Drive Records, nigga. So from now on, if there's something that I do that YouTube doesn't feel like hosting, it'll be added to the Too Hot for YT series, and I'll just make a post about it in the YouTube post section, and I'll drop the episode in the description of whatever episode comes next that does make it to YouTube. But check that out if you want to. You can stream it right there on Google Drive. You know, they have streaming capabilities. You could also download it if you so please. But this is episode 8. It would have been episode 9. But niggas like to hate. So some people hate. I would have a quick sing along, but I just don't want to risk that copyright, you know. This is what we gonna do. Hold on. No, not me. I didn't make this song. I might as well have made this fucking song. I am a hate survivor. You would think the guy who made this song would not beef with the guy who's a hate survivor. But, people like to run their traumas back on other people, which is funny because the guy who is a hate survivor, I feel like tried to do that to another guy in 2024, but he didn't all the way pull it off right. He tried to tease somebody because he got teed. Oh, I'm snapping right now because that don't even ask me how. Look at who's on screen. Don't even ask. He got teed in 2018, so he tried to tease somebody, and I understood. I understand that obsessive, but I wouldn't do to people what I wouldn't or didn't like done to me. So it's, everything, motherfucker, everything is everything. Warren Hill, shit. Sometimes something gets done to you. You might feel the urge to want to do it to someone else, but no one gets anything done that way. If I was in pain, I wouldn't want you in pain the same way. There's a phrase, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, you know, and I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. uh, Oh, this must be the way the nigga Pac felt when he made Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me. That niggas got me feeling like all eyes on me, me against the world. Y'all got me on my shit. You know. Raw, rough, and rugged. When addressing the mass public, my attitude is fuck it, cause motherfuckers love it. Got a chip on my shoulder the size of the gold nugget in Vegas, and fuck being famous, I came to get the butters. I came from the gutter. My success in this game is sorta like projectic justice. A payment for brushes, police officers, a peace offering from the guys from the streets I was tossed in, till I'm deceased in a coffin. I'ma be a beast on these beats, releasing early and often. Please, your disdain for the brothers ain't gonna change the numbers. It's just strengthening the chain among us. Please, we ain't afraid of none of yous who want it with us. Ain't nothing changed since the 96 summer. Come on. Some people hate. Doopa 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 doopa. Some people hate. I think they lost their minds. You know what I like, nigga? Right there. Some people kill their brothers. Some people do. Some people do. Pussies clicking up so they don't feel alone. Some people who share the same sickness as other people or a similar sickness will click up with niggas to kill their brother. But I'm pardon me. Zero sugar dirty Mountain Dew break. It don't really taste that good. The dirtiness doesn't mesh with the Mountain Dew. They're like two different realms. The dirty, you got to put the dirty in the dark sodas. You got to dirty them up. Anyway, I guess it's just the penalty of leadership. I guess I'm what niggas want to be and shit. Or niggas just bored want to be and shit. Before they get to rap and start believing it, think they Ali and shit. I roll with the punches so I survive. I bob and weave, move my feet from side to side. I'm back stronger than ever, surprise, surprise. They tried to take me out the game, but I's alive. It's like an old Negro spiritual, but I mastered Toby with a splash of Monster Goldie. Shoot faster than Kobe, nigga. You bastards know me, the one and only. Big homie from the rock, think your past is lonely. You need Jesus in your life. It's either that or y'all gonna make me put the double Desert Eagles in your life, nigga. Anyway, I didn't come here to rap Jay-Z lyrics. I really did not come here to rap Jay-Z lyrics. Pussies clicking up. Pussies clicking up. That I have had no desire but to do right by. This is factual. If God exists, God could tell you that. No ill will towards him whatsoever. But some niggas just sick and bored, want to be in shit. Anyway. We're back here. This is an emotionally taxing. I knew this would be an emotionally taxing affair when I embarked on this lyric breakdown, but I didn't expect to stall so much. you know. My car, like my mental car is it's stalling, it's sputtering, in this section because it's a lot to talk about. Yeah, let me just highlight this and get back into it. Yeah, here we go.
my tailwind. Honestly, the art to this is teachable, but all of their faculties in the bottling. Pretty potent vodka, that emotional throttling. They run along, I run a song up the chain of command. Felt it yanking, a pain in my hand. Stigmatized, poetry proves God is or is not alive. So the poet is detested. Ask me if I care, but the answer depends on if I'm rested.
All right, let's just get this out the way because I was fucked up last time we were here, and I did my best to cover the ground that I needed to cover, but there was ground I left out. Let's start with the light thing first. Obviously, there's connection in, the art to this is teachable, but all their faculties in the bottling. Pretty potent vodka, that emotional throttling. Vodka comes in bottles, bottling like a bottling facility, or faculty, if you will. We went through the definition of faculties. But you bottle alcohol, you bottle vodka. Pretty potent vodka, that emotional throttling, they run along. So yeah, there's wordplay, language association, bottling, vodka, faculty. The heavy thing, there's no sense in withholding that this is a diary. I was cheated on once. The year was 2011. Shit, it might have been more than once. Once that I know about, that I was told about. But it could be said that vodka was the catalyst, but I think all the vodka did was hype this goofy up to do what they already are, It would have happened with or without vodka. When someone's convinced that their needs supersede anything else in the world or their feelings or whatever, then this is what happens. But I think that snuck its way into this song because ever since that moment, vodka, San Diego, I'm thousands of miles away in Illinois and shit. Vodka got a bad rap going forward in my mind. As I discussed, I don't drink. But it's like ever since then, it's like any sighting or mention of vodka, I'm always gonna think about that. So in combination with what I explained earlier about, asking a friend like what's the best alcohol for feeling better, because I was close to drinking this year and also wanted to write this song. It was always gonna be vodka in the song. Like it had to be, right? So I think, vodka snuck its way in there too, though, because of emotional baggage that I have. But I associate that with careless decision making, with getting loose, getting too free, because there's shit you want to feel, or not feel, more specifically in this line. They run along. I run a song up the chain of command, felt it yanking, a pain in my hand, stigmatized. Poetry proves God is or is not alive, so the poet is to test it. Ask me if I care, but the answer depends on if I'm rested. So I had to take a break going into this because this is just, I'm grappling with the nature of existence now, What happens in this section is this idea that my songwriting, my artistry, my choosing, it doesn't feel like a choice. My purpose, my calling as an artist runs counter to perhaps, if there's someone running this, administrating life, if you will, counter to their plans or desires for me. And every time I write a song, it's like I have to run it by God, if you will, or whoever. And coming out of the sequence with the vodka and the headwinds and tailwinds and all of this, it's like, oh, am I not supposed to say that? Am I not supposed to process my traumas? Like every time I try to make sense of shit that will never be made sense of, it's like it feels like I get punished for asking questions, for daring to make sense of a senseless world. So each time I write, I'm running, because omnipresence. Like it's not even that I run the song up the chain of command; it gets run up there automatically. As the way that taxes should be handled in this country, automatically, because y'all already spy on everything else and are doing surveillance on everything else. I don't know why this isn't an auto process that's done every year. Why we have to file taxes when you could just process this surely without our involvement. But yeah, the song gets run up the chain of command by default because whoever it would theoretically be in charge can see everything anyway. So like the phrase chain of command, but it's like a physical, literal chain in the sequence, also felt it yank that chain. So I run the song of the chain of command, felt that chain yank and a pain in my hand, stigmatized. So now we're talking about, Christian, what's the fucking word? Of course, ideology, but, iconography, perhaps? Stigmata, if you're unaware, folks. Let's do some Googling here, even though Google is the fucking feds now. Well, yeah, stigma too. We can actually pull that up because that ties into what I'm talking about. Stigmata. In Catholicism are bodily wounds, scars, and pain which appear in locations corresponding to the crucifixion wounds of Jesus Christ. Or as to say it like a kind woman who I met recently said it, like she has a slight accent, like Jesus Christ, nice person. Yeah. So the word would, the word would be stigmatized because that is more specifically, hold on. But I'm playing with language as a good rapper should do. So
stigmatize.
Actually, I forgot I'm not in Google. So yeah, I wasn't engaging with the feds. What is this, Bing? Yeah. Anyway, aren't they also owned by Google though? I don't remember. It's not why we're here. Fuck it. Describe or regard as worthy of disgrace or great disapproval. Apparently, the second definition is to mark with stigmata. Right, because like the same root word, right. Well, I knew that when I wrote it, but I didn't know that literally to stigmatize is to mark with stigma. I didn't know that. All right, well the line work. I didn't even have to. I wasn't doing much combination. It turns out I could have just said stigmatized, but it works anyway because it calls to mind more specifically what I'm trying to get across in the next few lines, but. Yeah, felt it yanking a pain in my hand, stigmatized. So, in the Christian faith, which is one that, I think a lot of Americans were raised in, me included, despite it not being a huge part of my life or something that, I can admittedly readily, like, it's not something that I claim. It's like, it's just what I know, I'm not here to talk about faith, my personal faith or anything, because I don't know. I've never known. But this is what I was taught. So a lot of my thought about such things always ends up back there or somewhere around there. You go to a Catholic high school for a year and a half. You do Bible study for one summer in like 8th grade. You get baptized Catholic because of your maternal side, but your paternal side is like Baptist, and your grandpa there is like a deacon in a Baptist church. Like there's Christianity all around you. So naturally, this is where your mind goes. I had a discussion with a friend recently where he was like, when you pray, like, who do you see? And I'm like, I don't really see anyone. If I was to see someone, I guess it would be like Jesus, I guess. I don't see people when I pray. I don't think about the image of God when I pray. And he's like, you see like white Jesus? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not like a conscious choice. It's just that's what you get exposed to growing up. Other than the black Jesuses that would be on the fan in Baptist churches that you would wave, you know, the hand fan that you would wave yourself with. Yeah, I wouldn't see it much. I suppose if that was the Jesus that I saw most growing up, I guess I would see a black Jesus. And he's like, you mean like that's crazy? You do know that like historically Jesus would have been your skins. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, absolutely. That region, totally. But it's like I'm not whitewashing Jesus. I was just exposed to the whitewashed Jesus. Anyway, back to the lyric breakdown. Felt it yanking a pain in my hand, stigmatized. Poetry proves God is or is not alive. So I'm not saying that I'm God because I got stigmatized, but I'm playing with the idea of being a poet. Being an artist is innately grappling with the nature of existence. It's pondering everything. Art is not required of you. What I'm gonna do, actually, I've decided at the very end of this episode, this might be a supersized episode. I'm going to add a video that I actually recorded back in January where I talked about like my motivation as an artist and like what I get out of art and how I see art, because it ties into this specific section of the song. I'm going to put that at the very end of this video. But it's not that I'm God as an artist, but when you make art, art is not something that's required to live. It's a choice that we make as existing beings, and it's usually commenting on what you observe as someone or something that exists. So when it's like you feel like the chain is yanking, it's like, how dare you question things? How dare you have thoughts about this shit that you just woke up in? The pain in my hand, stigmatized. What I'm trying to express in the sequence, though, is that if God created everything, God would have also created me to be a poet. I don't even like saying God created poets. So it's like, why would God be upset at something it created doing what it created it to do? In that way, poetry proves God either is alive because God gave birth to beings that can question God and everything God created. Like I've been stigmatized because it's like, yeah, certain things maybe God wouldn't want me saying, but it's like, I see you, my nigga. Yank that chain real quick and I feel that pain, like, okay, got it. You are listening, or okay, right. Because a lot of my writing, and not just this song, but my entire life, there's much talk of manifestation. This shit has been just sitting here forever. Much talk of manifestation. It's like, I manifested this. I mean, like, listen, yeah, when you try to do something, it could succeed. I don't think it's much deeper than that. But I have written songs, I realized specifically this year, that don't make sense. Well, no, they make sense as I'm writing them, but they actually become like, what's the phrase? Self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you don't want to will negative things into existence or bad things into existence. But when I write from a place, it's from the present or the past. And a lot of times a song will be recontextualized in the future because of a recent event. And I'll be like, holy shit, did I manifest this? Like, was this my fault? Like, did I write negativity and thus brought it about? Or like subconsciously I'm seeking this or introduce this into my life through what I'm writing? Or do I just have a really good grasp on life, my life, and the things around me? And so when they take place, it's like, yeah, wrote about that already. Or yeah, I could see that coming. Folks, Crush Car Virus, the very next song on Shovelware after this song, was written at the end of 2024. It didn't come out until the top of this year. And there are things in that song that make it sound like I wrote it at the top of 2026. It's fucking creepy to me, actually. Like, they apply like almost one-to-one application to like recent situations. And it's like, it's fucked up because if certain people were to hear these records, they could fairly believe they're about them, and they're fucking not. You know? There's another song I wrote, Awe, AWE, you know, out now on Bloatware, actually. I think it's track 2 on Bloatware. Wow, the track 2s on these Ware series are unintentionally like fucking you know, premonition style. All was written at like the end of 2023, and it didn't come out until the top of this year. And again, a song that sounds like I wrote it like recently, and I didn't. And what's funny is the person who might think that song is about them, it's not about them. In fact, I gave them all the songs about them. So it's like, you know, or the songs about them that I felt were most constructive in them understanding my perspective on them throughout the years. Cause like I wasn't here to hurt anybody's feelings or like trauma dump, you know, but Awe is not about them, you know. I was aware when I dropped at the timing might have looked crazy, but I was planning on dropping, like starting the Ware series way before I was even talking to this person. So it's like, hey, fuck it. It is what it is. Like, I'm not going to like, you know, you can ask questions as well. Like if you think some shit is about you, like, you know, I'm very approachable in that regard. I would prefer people ask rather than assume, but I was sitting on a lot of this shit for years. Like, well, yeah, bloatware, obviously, because that's the whole concept of it. But even shovelware, like I said, Crush Car Virus was into 2024. The Reiko Suave portion of shovelware, that shit goes as far back as what is it, 2018, 2019? Like a lot of that, as Papoose would say, material was old. You know? But yeah, to bring it back to what I was saying, like I write songs and I'll then deal with the situation and then be listening to an older song and be like, fuck, I hope I didn't bring this about. But also, damn, I be talking, nigga. Cause like this is right. Like I'm holding me down right now listening to myself because I feel me. I understand what's going on if don't nobody else do. But in those songs, having extra validation in the future, it's like, oh, all right, is this God letting me know like you're onto something? But at the same time, why do I feel like so self-indulgent and like I'm breaking rules, like I'm sinning by being an artist? You know, I mean, a lot of content would probably run counter to not just like Christian doctrine, but just like, you know, most religious doctrines. It's like, you know, be a gentle, meek person and don't like rapping is very unmeek, you know. And I don't mean Meek Mill, obviously. But poetry proves God is or is not alive. Because there's also the flip side of like, why would God create something that gives it create something that has the ability to question it being God so thoroughly and so feverishly and so intently, you know? It's an interesting thought stimulus, you know. Let me just show y'all this because if you're unaware, It's a Kevin Nash tweet from I think 2022 when like the lottery had climbed to like one of the craziest parts it had ever been at. This might not pop up. Let me see. Let me try to do the gimmick here. It might not be able to search. I mean, one last attempt. Lottery. Yeah, nah. It exists, folks. But he was talking about like winning it. He's like, if I won it, it's an interesting thought stimulus. What would I do with all that? Like it was something like that, but it is an interesting thought stimulus, this idea of a poet and poetry and, that being an avenue to question everything within existence. So it's like a poet would almost be like an op of God because it's one thing that specifically questions things that God would have created. Like that is what they do. But it's like, why would God create their own op? I mean, you could even apply that to what Warren Shaitan, to Shaitan. But at the same time, though, it's like if God grants free will, that would also prove that God is like, you can even be a poet. Like there is beauty in, there's that theory that like we are all a part of the same consciousness in the universe. What's the Rap Ferreira line? Let me pull it up. Hey man, you need to patch it up with my nigga, okay? You did my nigga wrong. I know you did him wrong. Ask me how I heard about it. What's the one? Right. That's when I knew I'd found. Okay, yeah, here it is. One time I was doo-dooing at a gas station and I read on the stall, on the wall, what's the purpose of life? And someone actually wrote back, it said, to be the eyes, the ears, and consciousness of the creator of the universe. You fool. I even did the laugh like him. But yeah, that's an interesting thought stimulus, and that's like a belief that some people have. We're all in the same primordial soup, if that's what I want to say. We all come from the same being, and we're all observing each other. We're all different aspects of each other. We all go back to the source when it's over. But yeah, it's like that stigmata. It's like you look down at the yank in the chain. I'm holding onto the chain. It yanks. There's a pain in my hand. And it's like you see that, Jesus was crucified, the hole in his hand. But like you use your hand to write. Pain in my hand, stigmatized. I'm writing this poetry and it's like, ow, okay, I guess I'm not supposed to write that. Or I guess like God's being cheeky. Poetry proves God is or is not alive. Like either this is a sign that God is all knowing to the point of even allowing something to question it, or all is secure in even allowing something to question it, or me being able to question it is kind of proof that like, why would God even allow this? But then again, it's like, if I'm stigmatized, if I felt that pain, isn't that the existence of a God? Because like I'm getting too free. I'm fucking getting too out of line, Poetry, a lot of people would say is a beautiful thing. But the ability to question the nature of all is, if you're God, I feel like dangerous or scary. But also if you're God, it could be part of the plan. So the poet could be looked at as a lot of things. So the poet is detested though, because it's like, whether you're God being like, this fucking thing questioning me. Although, like I said, my point of view, then why was I fucking created? You created your own op. What the fuck, But also, daring to question existence could make you detested by people here on earth who have a strong belief in a god or whatever, because it's like you're fussing too much, you're too much of a rabble rouser, you shh, you know, don't question. You know how that goes. Like, don't question God. What my nigga say, he thought the song Moments in Love, he said as a kid he thought it was saying don't mess with God. You know, a lot of people are say don't mess with God, you know? And I'm not trying to mess with God. I'm trying to make sense of this shit that God supposedly created. So the poet is either detested by God, which is funny because it's like, why am I so detested? You could have just not made me. Or detested by people who don't want to think about the nature of things or think about there not being a God. And ask me if I care about being detested, but the answer depends on if I'm rested. That's the pretty literal line. You know, when I'm at my most spiritually fatigued, I'm just like, look, man, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm just trying to write my little fucking songs to feel better. Like, I don't even care. This is all I have. Or I'm so tired that it's like, you know, look, I'm tired, so like let me know, you know. I just like, do I just stop? Because like don't nobody give a fuck about me no way. So if I'm gonna be so detested by y'all, like, do I care about being detested? Sometimes, because I feel like people got me fucked up. Because I'm not here to be detestable. But other times it's like, nigga, fuck you and your thought that I'm detestable. I'm not trying to be that. I'm just expressing myself. And when I'm tired, it could be one thing. When I'm rested, when I'm full of vitality and life and energy, like right now, actually, I'm willing to have the conversation. It's like, okay, you detest me. Why? Let's talk about it. But other times it's like, nigga, fuck out my face. You know, like, I know what I'm doing. I know my intent here. If you feel away, that's unfortunate, you know, and that can apply to anyone on earth. And sometimes it applies to God. You know, I have that attitude about me. Um, I think I did a pretty fair job of explaining that sequence. I feel like there's something more direct I can say. Let me take a second to just breathe and think about this. Oh, right. The stigma of being an artist. You know, people love to consume art, but they don't respect or like artists that much. You know, it's like, it's not a real job. It's like, what are you contributing to society? Oh, you fucking bum making your little paintings or your little fucking songs or your drawings or whatever it is that you do as an artist. It's like, there's a stigma behind that. Like, it's like a parent, like, God forbid my child be an artist or like get a fucking arts degree, you know? Because you don't want your child to be unsuccessful or be, you know, trying to make ends meet. And you understand that practically. But as an artist, my personal experience as an artist, this is not something I chose. It found me and it felt right to the point where I have to do this. This is a part of me. But I'm aware of the stigma of being an artist, let alone an artist like me that confronts the prickly parts of existence. Um, so the poet is detested, you know. Rested could mean physical rest or spiritual rest or emotional rest or mental rest. Like I'm fatigued a lot in different ways. And sometimes I feel like I have more energy than other times, you know? But yeah, the stigmatized was supposed to be a fusion of stigmata, but also stigma. So it's like the pain in my hand as a writer. It's like, right, the stigma of being an artist, but also the stigma of daring to question existence and God and everything else. You know, God created life and it's beautiful, but that would also include poetry, right? So poetry proves God is or is not alive. Either God's not alive because why would it allow me to so freely question it? Or it is alive because everything that God created is a wonder and a miracle and beautiful and what have you, including poetry. You know, unless poetry's of the devil, that would fucking suck for me because I don't fuck with that nigga. But that's for Bible study, I guess. The answer depends on if I'm rested, whether I care if I'm detested or not. And you know what's funny? That line actually was not written in reference to a conversation I had with someone earlier this year when they showed appreciation for me allowing them the space to process their thoughts. That was not a reference to that. But in listening to this song and all the months since it released, I'm like, great. F the person. I doubt the person even gives a fuck about me in so many ways, let alone as an artist. But if they heard that, they might think like that's some fucking shot at them. No, I'm just writing my little fucking songs. It just so happens that, oh shit. Yeah, I need rest too, just like you. I don't really get it as much as I'd like. I don't feel rested as much as I'd like. But that line is about me. Depends on if I'm rested. Caring about being a detestable being on earth. Sometimes I want to correct that view of me. Sometimes it's like, I can't help what these niggas is thinking. Depends on how much rest I have that day. But let's keep going here because I'm in a flow state, if you will.
You think I'm naked and blue sitting on Mars. This planet is nameless, goof. Now finish your stars. All that chicken soup for the soulless. Fuck celebrity. Times like this I'm unseen as a celebrity. Still speak geek now and then. My mother tongue, maybe hold yours if you don't know where I'm coming from. I'ma say it either way, cause I let the margin in when I need a break. Basically fucking audience, I am what I am. I have a plan. Man, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I am what I am. I have a plan. Ma'am, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I am what I am. I have a plan. Man, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I am what I am. I have a plan. Ma'am, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan.
I just let it run to the end. There's still more because I'm not planning on tackling the outro soundbite today because that could literally be its own video and it will be. But we will finish the actual lyrical breakdown here today, I think. But you, meaning the audience, think I'm naked and blue sitting on Mars. This planet, his name was Goof. Now finish your stars. All that chicken soup for the soulless. Fuck celebrity. So, let me see. I've never read the Watchmen comics or seen the movie or the show, but this panel here where he's like just sitting on Mars by himself, naked blue ass just sitting there. Of course, blue, is a could also be a word for, depressed, like, oh, I'm feeling blue today. So I'm playing on that. You think I'm naked and blue sitting on Mars. Naked as in exposed or vulnerable too, but also blue like depressed. But hey, this Dr. Manhattan naked as fuck. This nigga naked and he blue, literally, sitting on Mars. All right, the character Dr. Manhattan wanders the planet Mars and reflects on his life on Earth, as I often do on my songs, reflect on my life on Earth. But he's sitting there. But this panel specifically, I'm tired of Earth, these people. I'm tired of being caught in the tangle of their lives. You've probably seen this meme around somewhere, And hey, listen, like I said in the, when I'm talking about media, like Dragon Ball Z and Donnie Darko and shit, in the episode that's in the description, a lot of things worth engaging with become widespread. That's the nature of meaningful, powerful, universally connective tissue for universal emotions type of art. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. That was word salad like a motherfucker, but yeah. Um, yeah, you think I'm Dr. Manhattan in a lot of my songs, and I would see why. Um, like I'm just fucking sitting there pondering everything, depressed. But me being a cheeky rapper and being like the artist that has to fight against any classification or categorization or what have you, and like I guess proving that like, nuh-uh, I'm different, and here's why. This planet is nameless, goof. Now finish your stars. All that chicken soup for the soulless. Fuck celebrity. So, there was a series, I think that was introduced in the 90s, a book series, Chicken Soup for the Soul. It was like a collection of like poems and shit, I believe. Or like motivational writings and just like heartwarming shit, like chicken soup. You eat it when you're sick. It's a comfort food. It's warm. Um, Chicken Soup for the Soul was the name of the series. And then they like branched out. It was like chicken soup for this and chicken soup for that. I recall reading like a few of them like in my school library when I was in like second grade. But yeah. So I'm like, I'm first of all, I'm not on Mars, goof. Now finish your stars. All that chicken soup for the soulless. So chicken with stars, like Campbell's soup, the chicken soup with the little stars in it. But I'm playing on chicken soup for the soul, chicken soup for the soulless, fuck celebrity. So stars, celebrity. And I'm saying this is not your, I don't know, what, Kid Cudi or like whatever emo rap that has been commodified. This isn't that. Okay. You think I'm naked and blue. You think I'm this, but I'm actually not. This planet's nameless, first of all. I'm not on Mars. Also, it's me saying I, I often don't know what the fuck is going on, but I know it's definitely not Mars. I'm not on Mars. And I'm not naked, and I'm not blue, at least in a literal sense. Goof. Now finish your stars. Finish eating that fucking chicken and stars. Chicken soup for the soulless. Fuck celebrity. I'm not calling Kid Cudi or any conventionally acceptable emo rapper or whatever soulless, but a lot of, commercial shit can become soulless because, when anything is, swallowed whole by capitalism, it can happen like that. Um, Fuck celebrity. That's just me simply saying I don't desire that. I could get into the realization I had in the late 2010s where it's like, wait, if I succeed, there's a potential that I become famous. Like I had to really think about that one day. It's like, wait, that would make me famous. I don't want a bunch of people knowing me or knowing of me. Like that's not actually desirable to me. Uh there's no net positive. Yeah, there's no net positive because like the positives are, oh yeah, you might get a free meal or get into exclusive places because they know who you are, but it's like no, all this does is open me up to a bunch of people I don't know talking about me as if they know me, you know, amongst other detrimental things. But yeah, certain commercial music, again, not Kid Cudi specifically, but he's who comes to mind when I think of like a guy who was classified as like an emo rapper or whatever. More specifically, because I've made my peace with Kid Cudi. I know which songs of his I like. That fucking Triple X Triceratops nigga that y'all tried to fucking deify. Um yeah, that ain't no chicken soup, all right? That what would Joel say? That ain't no music you supposed to be listening to. That ain't no chicken soup you supposed to be consuming. Uh and it's like I hate to call a person soulless, but it's like, I'm rapping, nigga. It's like that's chicken soup for the soulless, you know? Um or, celebrity worship parasocial connect, like that's chicken soup for the soulless. You know, fuck celebrity. Finish your stars. Go listen to that other shit. Don't talk. Don't speak on me, nigga. Go listen to that other shit. Finish your stars. Finish consuming that instead of talking about me, because you don't know me and what I came here to do. Unless you're a fan, because then I feel like you probably have a good grasp on what I came here to do. Times like this, I'm unseen as a celebrity. Still speak geek now and then, my mother tongue. So let me stop here. Times like this, meaning the times we live in, 2026, I'm unseen as a celebrity. So I'm calling myself a celebrity. You could also hear that line as unseen as a, like I'm as unseen as a celebrity is. So let's do some nerdy shit. Let me, to those who are unacquainted, which I feel like is probably most of you. The nature of the Celebi, which is a Pokemon. So Celebi, let me find what I'm looking for here. Yeah, okay. Let me just read this whole section. Often found in forests, Celebi is known in legends as the, quote, voice of the forest. It is able to travel through time and exist simultaneously throughout time. And plant life flourishes whenever it has been, or wherever it has been. As seen in Celebi, the voice of the forest, said plant life is able to heal Celebi when it is dying and restore the flora around it to perfect health. Celebi also has the ability to heal wounds and can release a telekinetic energy wave to defend itself. It was shown in Pokemon Coliseum that Celebi has the power to instantly purify shadow Pokemon and can be summoned at Relic Forest with the melody of a time flute. Despite living in forests as its guardian, Celebi only shows itself in areas and times of peace. It has been regarded that as long as it is seen throughout the world, a prosperous and bright future is still in store for the Pokemon world. And that specific portion is what I'm referring to. Times like this, I'm unseen as a Celebi. I don't feel like we're in those times for the Pokemon world or our world, because obviously Pokemon are fictional. I've become more of a shut in and a recluse because these are fucked up times. And if I'm outside, it's hopefully to try to make something better or to just connect with my community, because I don't want to be seen out here. It's not even I don't want to be seen out, but I can't be out there. It's dangerous out there, you know? Times like this, I'm unseen. It doesn't feel like there's a prosperous and bright future in store for us. So I'm minding my business and staying inside. I can't show myself. We're not in an area or time of peace. I also feel like I'm a bit of a Celebi myself. What's that? Willem Dafoe. I'm a bit of a scientist myself, or whatever. You know, of course, and I talked about this in the Donnie Darko section of the video that's in the description, which, by the way, I meant to also talk about what's in Donnie Darko that I also appreciate, the concept of wormholes and portals. I'm a big wormhole and portal guy. But also timelines, time travel, time jumping, distortion, timelines. So Celebi, obviously, it exists simultaneously throughout time and can also travel through time. You know I like that. You know I'm fucking with that. You know? For the same reasons I fuck with Donnie Darko as a film. But yeah. What are celebrities? They're known for being seen. They're visible. They're public-facing figures. Fuck celebrity. So also fuck that as in I don't desire that, but also times like this, I'm unseen as a celebrity. So I don't want to be a celebrity, especially in times like these. I'm especially not being seen. Because the times are fucked up. Still speak geek now and then, obviously, because I just had to go to Bulbapedia to explain that line to you all. My mother tongue. I'm a fucking dork, man. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I am those things. Like, I care about things that have been designated nerdy things. I grew up that way, you know. But I think where I confuse people is that that's not the summation or the majority of my, is it? It might be the majority of my identity, but it's not, that's not like, you know, I don't make nerdcore, you know, I don't have an extensive knowledge of anime. The things that I have an extensive knowledge about, like the certain areas of like, I guess nerdiness, like where I have a total grasp on the lore, like you get Mortal Kombat. I'm probably one of the only people that cares a lot about that story and its lore. Um, you know, I would say Yu-Gi-Oh up until like the end of the GOAT format. Um, a lot of children's media. It's a lot of shit that like I have a comprehensive understanding of, which I think would qualify me as a geek, you know. But I also rap, and like Drake is one of my favorite artists, who's like obviously a celebrity and one of the most popular artists in the world. So it's like there's a balance here. Like I'm not bougie about, like, a lot of y'all niggas use your taste or things that you enjoy as your identity or signal your identity, and that's not me. I'm as likely to listen to a Rap Ferreira album as I am a Drake album. I am, and I don't say that to make a point about myself, because you know the meme is like I'm so whatever, like I listen to this and then I'll go listen to this. It's not that. I'm just telling, this is literally who I am. I don't draw those lines. Like I'm gonna fucking go watch a Criterion Collection deep cut, and then I'll also go watch fucking Endgame because I'm invested in that story, nigga. I cried when Iron Man died. Did I cry when Iron Man died? I didn't cry. I teared up. There's a difference. My eyes got glassy, nigga. I did cry at Toy Story 3 though. Gotta cry at Toy Story 3. Um, but also, you know, Endgame, a film I gave a 10. Uh, I it's not in my top 4 films. My top 4 films are, well, I haven't fleshed it out, but I know the Carter documentary's in there. Uh, yeah, I'm not here to think about that, but the Carter documentary has a slot for sure. But yeah, that's my mother tongue, and maybe hold yours if you don't know where I'm coming from. You know, don't speak on me and my geeky allusions and references, nigga, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Now, if you have as much of an understanding of this as me, then I'm open to hearing what you talking about, because you might be like, nigga, shut the fuck up about Celebi, nigga. We know about Celebi, because then I'll be like, all right, you know about Celebi, all right, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. You know, apparently that shit was not hard, you know, to someone who actually has the qualification to speak on it. But when I say hold, I'm not even that serious. You can talk about whatever. What's that mean? I'm a sad man. Write whatever you want about me. Can I get that to pop up? I'm a sad man. Write whatever you want about me. Write what you want about me. Here it is. I fucking love this image. Yeah, write whatever you want about me. Those days when I'm not rested, sometimes it feels like that. You know? But yeah, I'm being cheeky as a rapper. Maybe hold your tongue. Like, this is my mother tongue. And I say still speak geek now and then because I think I've progressed beyond that being like a defining characteristic of my music, because I was definitely geekier in my writing coming up. But like that was almost like a shout out to my day ones, or like, you know, just dipping back in that bag real quick. You know, and I don't say this with any authority, but like maybe hold yours if you don't know where I'm coming from, because that the shit just sound hard to me. It's like, yeah, I'm on my geek shit. Shut the fuck up if you don't know what I'm talking about, because you don't know what I'm talking about. But this, I mean, if you don't know where I'm coming from, I'ma say it either way, because I let the Majin in when I need a break. Basically, fucking audience. You want to talk about rhyme schemes and syllables, nigga, rhymes, nigga. All right. Mother tongue coming from. All right. Either way, Majinin, need a break, audience. Either way, need a break, Majinin, audience. Man, fuck you niggas, man. But yeah, I'm gonna say it either way, whether you fucking with it or not, because I care about it. And don't you want your artists to be authentic? Right? I don't know. Maybe y'all don't. Maybe y'all just want your artists to mirror you all the fucking time. The reason I enjoy art, or one of the reasons, is I can tap into someone else's mindset. I don't have to agree with it, but if they express themselves well, then that's a great song to me. I was able to understand someone else's perspective through their art. You know, so I'm gonna talk my shit either way now, cause I let the Majin in when I need a break. Basically, fucking audience. So we gotta play something, and hopefully copyright doesn't fuck me over. Actually, we might not. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for.
Hey Meta, start live translation.
¿Le gustaría
I'm gonna say this. You niggas who actually buy and use Meta glasses. Yeah, I think less of you. I do.
que le traiga una sombrilla, señor?
Would you like me to bring you an umbrella, sir?
Funny. The man has jokes.
He's funny. Okay.
Okay.
You'll fight with me, Kakarot. Unless, of course, you'd like more bodies to pile up.
You know what? Because I don't want to have to edit around this. I'm gonna just let it play in the background.
On your conscience.
Well, let me set this up. So Vegeta, character in Dragon Ball Z, he is introduced as a villain. He's eventually basically reformed and accepted into the core group of heroes. He still has the mean streak, like he still is who he is, but like he's on the side of good. He often was like, you know, begrudgingly so, if that's the word I want to use. Yeah, begrudgingly so is on the side of the Z fighters, but we know he's softened, you know. He settles down, he has a child, like he's chilling. But there's this arc where he basically can't quiet that voice that's telling him he's grown soft. He's insecure. It's like, nah, how could I let myself become this? Like, I still got, like, Goku is still my op. Like, fuck that. Like, I don't like that this nigga's strong. Fuck that. I don't like people playing on my phone. You know? And he allows this wizard, Babidi, who like has these Majin powers. Like, you know, there's Majin Buu as a character, but like the M on his forehead here. You know, he allows himself to be basically possessed by Babidi and gets this Majin symbol on his forehead. And he returns to his evil essence, like who he was before he got soft. And Goku was like, oh, Vegeta, that's not you. You know, it's like, don't do this. Like, you know, like basically, come on, man, don't do this. Like, and Vegeta's like, nah, fuck that. Fuck you. Fuck all this. Like, this is like, fuck that. You know, he's back to listening to his ego. Now, I'm going to say this. Reason I wrote the line in my song is I've been feeling like Majin Vegeta as of late. But the difference is I didn't let this happen out of insecurity or like not being able to handle becoming a better person. I was pushed into this by someone with ill intent. And me becoming Majin Vegeta is actually a first because I never had ill intent in me to begin with. There was no reformation. I've just been me, goofy ass denouement, trying to see the best in everybody. And then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, so you're just going to fuck me over. All right, bet. I let the Majin in when I need a break from this geek. Like, oh, you think I'm a bitch. You think I'm just a geek. You think I'm something to play with. You think I'm whatever the fuck you think I am. Who Do You Think I Am by Denouement, out now, by the way, on a 2-pack of Ask. But let me play this in the background.
Unless, of course, you'd like more bodies to pile up on your conscience.
Vegeta, certainly you didn't.
I did. Anyway, they might even get me for the audio. I don't know. Let me just do this. Let me do this. So he's giving Goku an ultimatum where he's like, well, first, he already blows a damn hole in the fucking fucking arena that, you know, the tournament was taking place in. I think that was his doing. But yeah, basically he turns his hand to the audience and threatens to kill innocents. And Goku think he ain't gonna do it, and he does it. If Goku thought he had not committed to being evil again, does that look like the face of a nigga who's playing? You know? Yeah, he just killed a bunch of innocent people. I'm gonna say it either way because I let the Majin in when I need a break. Basically, fucking audience. I don't care who's listening. I gotta get this shit off. I gotta let the Majin possession in because I need a break from you thinking I'm a bitch or I'm something to fuck with. Because I am a gentle soul. I am. I'm also a fucking crash out. And whether that's a product of anxiety or not, I know I have a crash out gene. I know I do. And I've kept it at bay my whole life. Pretty much. You know. But some people force the crash out because in due time. Basically fucking audience. Like if I'm gonna look crazy optics wise to the world, whether that's in my songs or on an Instagram timeline or whatever, fuck them. Cause they don't know what forced me to go Majin. And I hate that I have to look this way, but hey, I am what I am. I have a plan. Man, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I am what I am. I have a plan. Ma'am, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I am what I am. I have a plan. Man, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I am what I am. I have a plan. Ma'am, I am not gonna be nervous in Japan. I want to talk about mantras. I didn't even plan that when I opened this video. But this is where the next video will pick up though, because I need to explain what I am not going to be nervous in Japan means. And it ties into the soundbite, obviously, if you've heard the song, but that's why it's going to need its own video. Because that phrase has meaning to me. Personal meaning, in addition to this song being titled this and this side of shovelware being titled that. So we'll get into that. But man, ma'am, I'm speaking to a lot of people here. Speaking to all of humankind, but I'm also speaking to specific people. And, you know, when I perform it, my voice is increasing because I'm becoming more unhinged and more fired up. But, yeah. Hold on, I'm making notes. I'm making edit notes, actually. Actually, let this keep playing. And if I risk audio shit, we'll just fix it. All right. Anyway, the next video will be the final breakdown or the final part of this breakdown where we talk about the soundbite and what I am not going to be nervous in Japan means. But for now, this is a rant about art and artistry from an artist. I'm not here to define what an artist is or to speak for all artists. I'm solely speaking for myself. But what I want to talk about is what, to me, feels like a persistent misconception about artists. And it's this idea that we create or seek out situations, usually negative ones, just to have something to make art about. I personally find that notion fucking ridiculous. Both the act of doing that, assuming that were true, and the idea that that is done. Now, again, I don't speak for all artists. There might be some artists that land themselves in shit intentionally just to be inspired. Hell no. I can't relate to that. Personally, the way I'd like to live my life, on principle, I don't want to be in shit. Drama, mess, situations, bullshit. I don't like to be in that to begin with. So the idea that I would seek it out just to make art is fucking crazy to me. But this misconception, I feel like it comes from people who aren't artists or, you know, don't make art full time or otherwise. And I can understand why they would think that, even though I find it fucking ridiculous, because, you know, to people who don't make it, it might seem mystifying, or it's like, you know, their idea of inspiration, it's like, oh, you know, you need a source of inspiration. Like, that's how art is created, right? I guess the reason I find it ridiculous is because of my personal philosophy about art. That philosophy is rooted in the idea that art is inherently worthless, in the sense that it's not required to live or to exist as a human being. We require air, water, food, you know, we're biologically engineered to want to procreate and continue our species. So art doesn't factor into any of that. Eating, drinking, fucking, breathing, whatever. It's useless. But that's why it's so, to be frank, beautiful to me, because it's essentially a person documenting their experience of being alive. It's a testament to their existence. It was their thoughts and feelings while, you know, here in their brief time on Earth. Basically what I'm saying is, it's one of the few choices that we get to make in life, making art, that isn't tied to the automated processes that your brain runs every day to keep you alive. You could say, you know, in some respects, art is serving that purpose if it's cathartic for you to make, because it's telling you there's reason to live, like, keep living. Even if this is your only reason, you know, like, it's still keeping you alive. But what I mean is, unlike things that are literally needed for you to survive, like air, water, and food, they don't put art in an IV when you're in the emergency room and pump it into your body. You know what I'm saying? So, it's fascinating to me because it's a choice. Making art is the deliberate and conscious decision to do something outside of what is necessary, to do something other than just existing. I think that's daring. For me personally, it's cool, but cool is different to different people. But there's mystery and wonder in that. Making art is basically a person going, oh shit, I exist. How does that feel? Am I even okay with existing? You know, it's a record of what it felt like to be in this experiment of existence. That's what art is. These questions can make a lot of people uncomfortable. I understand that, which is why throughout history, you know, maybe art gets people killed or art gets banned. The majority of my art is about suffering, and I don't think me saying that surprises anyone. But that's because, to me, life is mostly suffering, because suffering comes from desires, and we generate way more of those than we can ever hope to fulfill. I think Buddhism discusses that. I don't know much about Buddhism, but, you know, basically, I don't think I'm crazy to think that. Other people have thought that too. But at the same time, those who truly know me know I'm a goofy ass nigga at heart. But what I feel the majority of the time is suffering. So to put the goofy ass nigga version of myself in art wouldn't be reflective of how I'm feeling most of the time. Also, I have to say that one, being a goofy ass nigga openly makes people think you sweet. There's something to play with, unfortunately. And number two, which is arguably worse, it makes people think that you think shit is sweet, and shit ain't sweet. I would love to be the goofy ass nigga, but the world is not sweet. And, you know, to do that would be to neglect the very loud, blaring alarms going off every single day. So, to get back to the point, to tie it all together, I'm a self-generating, most of my inspiration generates itself, is what I'm saying, because most of it for me comes from suffering, and there's no shortage of that. I've already said I tie that to life itself. It's abundant. Suffering is abundant. So I don't need to create it. I don't need to seek it out. I don't need to rope someone into my story to do that. That's fucking grotesque anyway. It's cruel and it's selfish. I don't operate that way. I don't do that. So, you know, if I ever did create, it would be creating positive situations. So I feel like I don't have enough to actually bring it into art. So if I ever did that, it would be because of that. So there you go. To sum it up, I have plenty of inspiration, and I don't need to and wouldn't dare involve somebody in my curse of being an artist just to create art. That's dumb to me. And I guess I would say, please do not confuse me observing and documenting my suffering with the idea that I went out to create it. Rant over.